Breaking news. See how several June 12 protesters were killed by military officers in Lagos. It was the first report of deaths since protesters in Lagos, Nigeria's largest city, began pressing the government to recognize the annual presidential election held on June 12, which is supposed to end a decade of military rule. Police officers and soldiers who attempted to stop the protest against military dictatorship were resisted by protesters who set up fires and roadblocks on July 7, 1993, the Associated Press reported. According to reports, at least 11 people were reported to have been killed, and it was the first report of death since protesters in Lagos, Nigeria's largest city, began pressing the government to recognize the annulled presidential election held on June 12, which was supposed to end a decade of military rule. The reported winner, Moshood Kashimawa Abiola, appealed to people to resist the dictatorship of General Ibrahim Babangida and ignore an ultimatum threatening to dissolve parliament. In a statement, Abiola was quoted as saying, "Ignore this last and latest threat by the ongoing military president and down the consequences." Soldiers killed several routed who set its truck on fire in Ikoyi, a neighboring place, a neighborhood of Lagos. The Pan-African News Agencies reported. The agencies quoted witnesses as saying that the troops have piled bodies into the back of the truck and driven away. Other witnesses said 5 people had died in the incident. In another violence, witnesses and journalists said a mob had set fire to a taxi driver and killed him after he had tried to crash through a human chain and killed a youth. The police fatally shot a man as people looted a supermarket. A soldier shot a man to death as a blocked bridge, and the police killed a man in a stone-throwing crowd. At least one police officer was clubbed to death. Witnesses said that in addition, a police sergeant was beaten by protesters. He later died in Lagos General Hospital. Across the city, major markets, shops, banks, and businesses were also shuttered. But the second day, looters broke into dozens of stores. Protesters built barricades of buses, cars, and ties of all major streets, highways, and bridges, and set them on fire to block movement from Lagos through main residential island to the mainland commercial districts. The protests were the first serious unrest since June 16, 1993, when General Babangida abruptly annulled the result of the election and barred the 2 candidates from running in the new voting he planned to hold. The general met with leaders of the country's 2 political parties, but they were unable to agree on how to resolve the crisis in this nation of 88.5 million people. Abiola said that General Babangida had given the political leaders an ultimatum to accept a new election on July 31st, or he would resolve all the democratic institutions set up the previous years, including parliament, and replace them with an interim administration to organize a new election. Nduka Irabo, a spokesman for the government, said that the idea was just an option General Babangida had put to politicians. Thank you, viewers, for listening to this news. Wow, you can imagine. This is so outrageous. You can imagine how policemen disrupt June 12 protests in Lagos. You can imagine the space protesters, the youth who gathered at the Gani Fawemimo Park in the area to protest against insecurity and bad governance in the country were dispersed by the so-called policemen. Saturday, June 12 is Nigerians Democracy Day, and many civil organizations have vowed to peacefully protest the government's poor management of the country. But the police, in a statement on Friday, said that they were not aware of any planned protest in the economic hub of Nigeria. The police also appealed to the public to disregard any sit-at-home order called by certain groups, which is being circulated in social media, and go about their lawful businesses. So that is it. So I like our Nigerian youth. They don't even fear or scared. They're not fear or scared of anybody. Bravo to them, because they know what they are going through. They know the pains other Nigerian citizens and those that have lost their loved ones are going through. Any youth that stays back at home and says, "Oh, I don't want to die," this, that, is a coward. What if this or your family members are involved in all the attacks and kidnappings that have been going on in the country? Would you sit back and say, "Oh, I won't go out to protest. I don't want to be killed. I don't want to die"? Won't you fight for justice? Won't you fight for your family members? Won't you revenge? Won't you come out and say and be against Buhari's administration? Won't you say Buhari must go? You will say that. You will come out and protest. But because your family members are not involved, they have not the one being kidnapped and killed. They have not kidnapped your family members and asked for ransom. That is why you are having this useless and stupid talk of, "Oh, I cannot die for anybody. I cannot die for any country." If you have this experience of kidnapping or your family members being kidnapped or killed, then you will be saying all of this. So viewers, what is your own take on this? Please don't hesitate to drop every of your comment below the comment box. Click on the subscription button as well as the bell button to receive notifications whenever we upload new videos. Thank you.